Live from Palmasola Park in Bradenton, Florida, it's Florida Gulf Coast League softball. Today, the Sarasota Loggerheads take on the Longboat Key Snowbirds. Hello, everybody. I'm Lance Williams on the call. In the circle is Riley Scholl for the Snowbirds, their starter, facing off against the Loggerheads batting order. Leading things off, it's Morgan Volgraf, the right fielder out of Fordham. It's the first pitch is ball one. That comes in at 9:31. After Volgraf, batting second is Sophia Mazzola in center. Hitting third, Ava Vandernoth at short. Batting cleanup is Alexandra Cutnelli, the first baseman. And the 5-hole Lexi Beldowitz at third base. Batting sixth, Grazia Mazzola, the second baseman. As Volgraf lines out to the third baseman. So Mazzola bats sixth, hitting seventh, Chloe Nelson in left. Batting eighth, Rebecca Lewis, the catcher. And the DP, Sophia Jin, rounds out the order, batting ninth. Carly George will get the starting nod for the Loggerheads. Mazzola, the older Mazzola sister, both for Washington. As that skips in the dirt, it's ball two. Shows bunt, flips it back foul. Riley Scholl, the Louisiana Tech starting pitcher. So far this summer, 8 games played, 18 and 2/3 innings pitched, has an 0-3 record, a 7.12 ERA, 22 hits, 19 earned runs, 18 walks to 16 strikeouts, or 2-1. One is hammered foul. She has good raw stuff. Great drop ball, but the issue for her throughout her career has been consistency and control. The 2-2 Mazzola. She works that foul. Two-two pitch, softly grounded down the first base line, picked up by the first baseman Cortez and stepping on the bag for out number 2. Let's set the defense for Longboat Key, the outfield left to right. Lily Janesco, Alice DeWaters, and Vela Mansfield. Playing third is Jada Holt. The shortstop, Reese Green. Second base, Gracie Anderson. First base, Kaya Cortez, catching Abby DeWaters. And once again in the circle is Riley Scholl facing Ava Vandernoth. Vandernoth out of Fordham has a 2-0 count at the plate. With Fordham hit a couple ticks below the Mendoza line last season as a part-time starter. 2-0 pitch to her. She shows bunt. Watches a pitch miss the zone high, and she has a 3-0 count. Loggerheads enter this game 5-9. Snowbirds are 6-9. The regular season is coming to a close. Last day is tomorrow. There's a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs to Ava Vandernoth. And that brings up Alexandra Cutnelli, the first baseman. But for the Snowbirds, this is their final game. Barring any rescheduling from Thursday and Friday, where we did have some rainouts. That ball is mashed out of the yard, foul. Cutnelly from the St. Mary's College of California in the West Coast Conference. 1-1. She takes a hack. It's strike two. Towering shot above second, and the squeeze made by Anderson. And the inning is over. Rather, she dropped it. So runners on the corners instead, following the mistake by the defense. And Lexi Beldowitz takes strike one. So the inning continues for the Loggerheads, a team that's had a good offense this season. It's really just the pitching struggles that have been the issue at times this year. Team ERA just south of 8. As that one fouled back as Beldowitz got out trying to swing after it. Beldowitz out of USF last season. And this ball cracked on the ground to short, overhead and toss to first base, and that ends the inning. So, 2 runners get on for the Loggerheads, and we go to the bottom of the first, still scoreless. Bottom of the first between the Loggerheads and the Snowbirds. Sarasota got 2 on in the top of the first thanks to a walk and an error. They left them on. And now we are in the bottom of the first as Carly George warms up for the Loggerheads, facing off against The Snowbirds starting lineup that begins with Alice DeWaters in center. Batting second is Gracie Anderson, the second baseman. Hitting third, Jada Holt, who plays third. Batting cleanup, Abby DeWaters, the catcher. In the 5 spot, Mackenzie Duncan, the DP. Batting sixth, Kaya Cortez at first. Hitting seventh is the left fielder, Lily Janesco. Batting eighth, Reese Green, the shortstop. And riding out the order is Vela Mansfield, the right fielder. She bats ninth. Carly George in the circle, making her 7th appearance through her first 14 and 2/3 innings pitched. A 0-1 record, 14.32 ERA. Has allowed 30 earned runs thanks to 25 hits, has walked 20 and struck out 9. First pitch to DeWaters is a strike on the outside part. Abby and Alice DeWaters, both freshmen last season at the University of South Florida. Both entered the portal after that rookie year. Carly George, tall right-hander out of Dodge City Community College. Moderate hit ground ball to the shortstop, thrown over by Ava Vandernoth. That's the first out. That brings up Gracie Anderson, the second baseman. Let's set the defense for Sarasota. The outfield left to right, Chloe Nelson, Sophia Mazzola, and Morgan Volgraf. Playing third base, Lexi Beldowitz. The shortstop is Ava Vandernoth. At second base, Grazia Mazzola. First base is Alexandra Cottinelli, and catching Rebecca Lewis. As the first pitch from Carly George to Gracie Anderson is outside and low, ball 1. George had a great season with Dodge City. An elite two-way player at the JUCO level, one of the best, really. In the circle, 35 appearances, 26 starts, 10 complete games. A 2.69 ERA, 22-4 record. 135 in the third innings, allowed only 52 earned runs, walked 70, struck out 147. Then at the plate, she hit .346 in over 100 at-bats with 19 extra base hits. So, great season at the JUCO ranks, coming here to the Florida Gulf Coast League. As she strikes out Anderson. Come to the FGCL, it's a rising competition compared to the JUCO. You have a lot of Division I athletes, a lot of Power 4 players. And also, there isn't the structure that college ball has as well. As Jada Holt fouls the first pitch back. For a player like George, coming off her true freshman season at the JUCO level, it's a great opportunity to elevate your game against some high-quality talent. And she has started this ball game sharp. She has retired the first 2 as no 2 count to the third batter. She's searching for her second strikeout in a 1-2-3 inning to start her start. 2-strike pitch on its way to Holt. She catches a piece and fouls it back. The 0-2 pitch again. Tails outside. It's ball 1. This ball cracked out to center, falls for a base hit. A 2 out, 2-strike single for Jada Holt. She bats it up the middle. And she is the first hit of the game. And that brings up the cleanup batter, Abby DeWaters. DeWaters fouls the first pitch back. Runner takes off. The throw is well off the mark, as well she would have been there anyway. The jump she took. Jada Holt steals second. Pitch was a ball. And that one is high. Three one. George finds the zone. That one is outside, escapes the glove, and now it's runners on the corners for the Birds. Well, very similar situation to the one the Loggerheads had in the top half. First two batters were retired. Then all of a sudden, with 2 outs, there was runners on the corners. Pitches inside to Mackenzie Duncan. A pitcher by trade and a great one at that at Penn State. Doesn't hit with the Nittany Lions, but she's been hitting all right this summer. So an option for State, but she's also been one of, if not the most dominant pitchers in the Florida Gulf Coast League this summer. So you will definitely see her in the circle again next season with Penn State. Had a great freshman season as well, but with what she has shown this summer in the circle, strikeout leader of the Florida Gulf Coast League, you can expect another big year from her. Inning is over. Both teams get runners on the corners with 2 outs in the first. Neither bring home a run. We go to the second. Top of the second, Loggerheads return to the dish in a scoreless ball game. They got 2 base runners in the top of the first thanks to a walk followed by a dropped pop-out. Failed to bring home either. And it's Grazia Mazzola, the leadoff batter for the Loggerheads. Turtles' second baseman fouls the pitch back on the bunt attempt. Mazzola out of Washington, where she enrolled early this last season, did not play with the Huskies, a team that made it to the regionals. Good season in Seattle, as that one is bunted foul. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz in Seattle right now, not necessarily around the Huskies, but the World Cup game tonight. U.S. men's national team against Belgium. Should be a good one. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. The Americans have been on quite the run. So that brings up Chloe Nelson, left fielder. And there's a strike on the outer edge, fired out by Riley Scholl. Pitch misses outside, and Scholl out of Louisiana Tech, a team that was projected to finish atop the Conference USA last season. As this one grounded to the shortstop and fired over 6-3. Nelson is down. Not a horrible season for Louisiana Tech, but not the expectations that they had. Preseason Conference Player of the Year. A lot of talent. But they'll have another season with a lot of anticipation this upcoming year as they rejoin the Sun Belt Conference. A lot of realignment with the reconstruction of the Pac-12. Texas State leaving the Sun Belt for the new Pac-12. As there's pitch low to the catcher, Rebecca Lewis. The Bulldogs used to be in the Sun Belt in the 90s, early 2000s. Two-0. Lewis takes a strike, and she's trying not to laugh thanks to the chants from her teammates. Lewis rolls this to the shortstop, and Green throws it over to Cortez, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the second. Riley Scholl in a groove to start this one. We're scoreless as we go to the home half of inning number 2. Bottom of the second between the Snowbirds and the Loggerheads. Kaya Cortez leads it off for Longboat Key. Sophomore from Notre Dame, where she was a .288 hitter this past season. Started the first 21 games before suffering an injury that ended her second season prematurely. Ball won by Carly George, the Sarasota starter. And Cortez chases, but useful bat for the Fighting Irish. Plus hitter, has some pop, hits from the left side, always a plus. She cracks that foul. Oh, it skips in the dirt. Cortez taps this on the ground to the second baseman, and Mazzola feeds for Cottinelli. And she's gone. That brings up Lily Janesco, the left fielder from Western Michigan University, where she hit .208 in 25 games, 16 starts this season. And Carly George loses that one. Dodge City Community College, where George plays. Very good athletic program. Just across the gamut there. As that pitch is low, I mean, as a junior college, it's hard to beat this as their most prominent athletic alumni. Larry Brown, the former Washington Redskins standout in the 70s, 1972 NFL MVP. He started at Dodge before going on to Kansas State. Eight years in the NFL. And that pitch is inside appeal to the first base umpire, our friend Gracie, asking if she went. And the first base coach for the Longboat Keys said no. Don't think the appeal was to you, man. But it's the Second walk given out by Carly George as Reese Green is at the plate. Here's a fly ball above the shortstop. Vandernoth in front of the trim makes the catch. Second out of the bottom of the second inning. And that brings up Vela Mansfield, right fielder out of the College of Central Florida. To JUCO. Bandits going after it as that one takes an awkward carom and the runner advances. Dodge made it to the JUCO World Series for the first time in over 2 decades. And College of Central Florida in the Citrus Conference had a couple World Series teams. Santa Fe College, Eastern Florida State College. As that ball ricochets out, and it's ball 2 and a runner at third base. So Mansfield competed in one of the best conferences at the Division I junior college level. As she watches the second strike. Mansfield, a slow ground ball to the shortstop. Vandernoth eats it up and throws a strike to Cuttinelli to end the inning. For the second straight frame, Longboat Key gets a runner 60 feet away, failed to bring her home. And there are no runs through the first 2 innings. Top of the third, Sophia Jin, the leadoff batter, takes a strike on the outside. Jin out of Stanford. Elite softball program out west. Facing Riley Scholl. And Jin has been a really good player this summer. Always flashing bunt, applying pressure, has some really great at-bats, and Didn't really get to show off her offensive skill set so much this season with the Cardinal. Played in 42 games, but only had 15 at-bats. But with the maturity she showed at the plate in the Florida Gulf Coast League, certainly will be a contender to break into that Stanford batting order next season. As she has a 2-2 count, yet to swing it. This summer, Jen is hitting .483. And she lifts off above the second baseman. Anderson adjusts and makes the catch. So Jen, the batting average leader for the Loggerheads, she is retired. That brings up Morgan Volgraff, another 400 hitter for Sarasota. Volgraff swings after the first pitch. It's bobbled by Schull in the circle, but she rotates and gets it over to first. Brings up Sophia Mazzola, the center fielder. Zola, her second time up. The count is full to Mazzola. We saw Schull get the first 2 outs in the first inning, then walk a batter. She has retired the last 6. And let's make it 7. Her second strikeout, second straight 1-2-3 inning, and we're through 2.5 without a run. Bottom of the third inning between Sarasota and Longboat Key. No runs yet in this one, as it is the Snowbirds' turn back at the plate. Carly George started in her second time through the order, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, did not concede a run. She faces Alice DeWaters for the second time, and the first pitch is low. DeWaters walks. Both DeWaters sisters have been good this summer. No public announcement yet as to where they will take their talents in 2027. For that year at South Florida is Gracie Anderson, who struck out looking. She is up. And she rolls that through the first baseman's legs. Base hit. DeWaters gets to third. It's runners on the corners with nobody out. In the bottom of the third inning for Longboat Key. Just a hard hit ground ball. Nutmegged the first baseman Cuttinelli. And Jada Holt is up. Holt hit the first single of the game, first hit of the game in the first with 2 outs. And Carly George has to settle in. And this ball poked to the second baseman. She flips it to first. It scores a run. Still a runner in scoring position as the Snowbirds now lead it 1-0. That brought home DeWaters, shifted Anderson to second, and with an out, it's Abby DeWaters who takes ball 1. It's a walk. Fourth one given out by George. And multiple runners on again for Longboat Key as DeWaters walks for the second time. There's Mackenzie Duncan, the designated player. Duncan out of Winter Garden, Florida. In the central part of the state. Low hit, ground ball to the third baseman. They get the force at second. Soft toss to first. Just the one at second base. The runner advances to third as it's runners on the corners again with the Duncan fielder's choice. So DeWatters is at second. That brings up Kaya Cortez, the first baseman, with runners on the corners. Harley George looking to limit the scoring to one as her pitch is high. Cortez crushes it high to center, and the catch made in front of the wall by Mazzola. Cortez just a bit underneath that one. It ends the inning, but not before Longboat Key scores the first run of the game thanks to one hit, 2 walks, no errors, 2 others left on. We're through 3, 1-0 Birds. Top of the fourth between the Loggerheads and the Snowbirds. Snowbirds scored a run in the third thanks to an RBI by Jada Holt. They lead at 1-0. First pitch is a strike to Ava Vandernoth, the shortstop who walked on 4 pitches in the first inning. And it's another walk for Vandernoth and a leadoff base runner for Sarasota. And that breaks that streak of 7 straight retired for Riley Scholl. And it brings up Alexandra Cutnelli, who reached on a dropped pop-up in the first. She swings and flies one foul. This ball batted up the middle past the second baseman. Base hit. Vandernoth on her horse. She settles at third. It's runners on the corners for the Loggerheads with nobody out. First hit for the Loggerheads comes off the bat of Alexandra Cutnelli. Brings Vandernoth to third base, and Lexi Beldowitz steps up. She grounded out to the shortstop, her only time up. And that brings Jersey Nutiel out of the Snowbirds dugout, former pitcher. And she relieves Riley Schull of her duties. Pitching change for Longboat Key in the top of the fourth. We'll step aside for it. Longboat Key turns to their ace in the top of the fourth to relieve the starter Riley Schull, who leaves runners on the corners. Mackenzie Duncan, the Penn State right-handed hurler, she comes in facing Lexi Beldowitz. It's Ava Vandernoth at third base and Alexandra Cutnelli at first. As the pitch is outside, no resistance to the stolen base there for Cutnelli. She steals second easily. And Duncan gets chase. Duncan just brilliant numbers this season. In her first 11 games played, this is her 12th appearance. 40 innings pitched, a 4-1 record, 1.93 ERA. She brings the heat, blows it past Beldowitz. Only 11 earned runs, 12 total, 22 hits. This is the ratio that you want to look at. 11 walks to 70 strikeouts, a whip of .825. And she picks up her 71st strikeout, adds to her league best total. And there is the first out of the fourth inning. Here's Grazia Mazzola, who struck out when she was facing the starting pitcher, Riley Schull, in the second. And Duncan, good movement on that one in conjunction with the velocity. Strike one. Duncan pumps in strike 2. Snowbirds enter today a half game behind the Circus and a full game behind the Finns. They're currently 8th in the standings. You want to get to that 6 seed to get the single bye. Top 4 seeds receive a double bye, but 3 of the 4 are locked in, and statistically, I don't think it's possible for them to surpass the Rodeo, who are 7-6, or the Finns, who are 7-8 when they are 6-9. I guess the Finns is possible, but the Rodeo, I don't think that is possible. But there are some games that perhaps could be rescheduled. That's still up in the air right now. 2-2. It's outside. Yeah, the Slice, Swashbucklers, and Rivermocks at 13-2, 11-3, and 10-3. They're locked into top 4 seeds. The Squeeze right now have the 4th one at 9-4. The Rodeo are 7-6, Finns 7-8, Circus 6-8, and Snowbirds 6-9. That ball is out, foul. And the Aquanauts are 9th at 5-8, then a 3-way tie between the Impact Queens and Loggerheads, who are 5-9. This ball batted hard down the right field line. Falls, takes a hop into the fence. That scores 1. In comes another 2-run double for Grazia Mazzola. And it is 2-1 Loggerheads. That does it for the pitching line of the starter. Scholl, 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned, walked 2, and struck out 2. From here on out, it's the responsibility of Mackenzie Duncan. She gives ball 1 to Chloe Nelson, the left fielder. Nelson, like her teammate, the starting pitcher for the Loggerheads, Carly George, out of Dodge City Community College. The Conquistadors. Ooh, and Duncan takes some off and finds a strike. Three 1. It's outside, and whether that's ball 3. 3-1. This one is fouled, and that is a full count. Chloe Nelson grounded out to the shortstop in the second. Swing and a miss. Duncan with another strikeout. Here is Rebecca Lewis. 2-1. Pushes Lewis back. Rebecca hit the portal after a year at the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. Duncan comes home. And that is ball 4. Here's Sophia Jin. Stanford freshman popped out in the 3rd inning to lead things off. And a reminder, we have our Florida Gulf Coast League All-Star game this week as well. That is on the 8th. Here are 2 players who certainly have made a case to be in that game. Those selections will be made tonight, announced soon after. Runner gets to 3rd. Glove can't hold on to the ball, and a run scores. 3-run inning for the Loggerheads. Strike 3. Jin goes down looking, but not before. A productive top of the 4th for Sarasota. 3 runs come in thanks to 2 hits, 1 error, another left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, 3-1.
Bottom of the 4th, Danielle Watson-Moore turns to the bullpen, brings in Sydney Jackson, right-hander, making her 9th appearance of the summer. Through her first 24 1/3 innings, she has a 3-2 record and an 8.63 ERA. As the first pitch is flied out of here, foul ball to Lily Janesco. Jackson, 30 earned runs this summer off of 35 hits, has walked 27 and struck out 26. She relieves Carly George, who went 3 innings with 2 hits, 1 run, walked 4, and struck out 2. These walks have been the problem for the Loggerheads this season. It's 84 walks to, rather, 83 walks to 85 strikeouts. About a 1-to-1 ratio right there. Sidney Jackson out of Syracuse. And I've said it before, but it's a team that on paper you would expect to have good pitching numbers just with the talent and the pedigree that they have. As this ball crushed on a line to center, but adjusting, making the catch is Mazzola. You have Jackson out of Syracuse, Caroline Stanton out of Florida, Michaela Smith out of Oklahoma State, and then Carly George, who is one of the best pitchers at the junior college level this season. Whether due to youth and experience, small sample in summer ball, just hasn't been consistent dominance pitching-wise for the Loggerheads. But with that, of course, the postseason starts, single elimination. As this ball tapped on the ground to the shortstop, Vandernoff rifles it to Cutnelli, and there are 2 gone. I don't think anyone would be surprised if you have an excellent start from any of those pitchers I mentioned. They certainly have the stuff. They could wind in the control for a start, stack together a couple good performances from some of their arms, and with the firepower their offense has, anything can really happen come the Florida Gulf Coast League playoffs as Vela Mansfield fouls a pitch back. A 1. Dribbles in the dirt. Ball to Mansfield. Vela grounded that to the shortstop in the second. It is a hot and steamy day in Bradenton. 87 degrees, about 70% humidity, and really the big issue, just no air. It's pretty stagnant. And Mansfield goes down on strikes, and it's tough here in the press box. I can't imagine how it is in the field, but doesn't seem to affect Sidney Jackson, who comes in, deals a 1-2-3, bottom of the 4th. It is 3-1 Loggerheads as we go to the 5th. Top of the fifth, two-run game between Sarasota and Longboat Key. Leadoff batter is Morgan Volgraff, the right fielder. First pitch from Mackenzie Duncan. It's a strike. Volgraff out of Fordham in the Bronx, where she hit .280 this season, 51 games, 47 starts for a very good Rams team. And a check swing liner goes to third base. And second time she's lined out to the hot corner, she's 0 for 3. That brings up Sophia Mazzola, the center fielder, who grounded out to the first baseman in the first, struck out swinging in the third. And she faces Duncan for the first time. Bunt slowly dribbles to Duncan. She takes it and uses that cannon of an arm to get it to first base. Here's Ava Vandernoth without an official AB today. Walked on 4 pitches in the first, walked on 5 in the fourth. Also came around to score the first run of the game for the Loggerheads after that leadoff walk in the prior frame. Strike 2 to Vandernoth. Also out of Fordham, the Rams, they went 27-28, 13-11 in Atlantic 10 play, but went 4-0 in the A10 tournament. And both Rams retired with ease by Mackenzie Duncan. Another K for her. It's a 1-2-3 top of the fifth. It's still 3-1. Bottom of the fifth. Loggerheads in front of Snowbirds, 3-1. Alistair Waters leads it off. DeWaters grounded to short in the first. In the third inning, she drew a leadoff walk. Advanced to third on a Gracie Anderson hit. And scored on a Jada Holt groundout. So far, the only run for the Snowbirds in this Monday morning contest in the penultimate day of the FGCL regular season. Line drive down the left field line, stays fair. DeWaters wraps around to second base, slides in with a leadoff double. Just the third hit of the game for the Snowbirds. It's a two-bagger for DeWaters, the leadoff batter, and she is on base for the second time. And Gracie Anderson, who is 1 for 2, she is up. First pitch is ball 1. Anderson watches it go high and in, escapes the catcher, and down to third is DeWaters. Anderson represents the tying run. She fouls that pitch off. Anderson from Green Bay, the Phoenix of the Horizon League. She swings and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Anderson with a runner at third and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a 2-run ball game between the Loggerheads and the Snowbirds. Anderson, part of a Phoenix team that finished 3rd in the Horizon League tournament. Good end overall to a season where they won just 16 games. And she's fighting right here as they did in the postseason. The 2-2 pitch. Anderson strikes out. Jackson pulls the string. It is her second strikeout and the first out in the bottom of the 5th. Here is Jada Holt at the RBI groundout to bring in DeWaters her last time up, and she might have that again. Vandernoth from short to first, and it is exactly that. Scores a run, makes it a 1-run game. Jada Holt does her job. She's now 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And that brings up Abby DeWaters, the catcher, who has walked both times she has been at the plate. Pitches a strike to her. DeWaters, formerly of USF. As a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ball 3. Ball 4, and the tying run is on. So DeWaters, mostly a spectator today. She has walked all 3 times up. Patient approach offensively. And that brings up a pinch hitter, Reagan Wheatley, hitting in the 5-hole for Mackenzie Duncan. Wheatley chases. Good pitch from Sidney Jackson. Wheatley in the portal after a year at Tallahassee State College, preceded by a year at Norfolk State, the D1 level. Strike 2 to Wheatley. Still looking for a home as of last night. We'll have 3 years of eligibility left after just 2 games, 2 at-bats her freshman season with the Norfolk State Spartans. And she strikes out here to end the inning. But the Snowbirds score 1 run thanks to 1 hit. No errors. They leave a runner stranded. We're through 5, 3-2. Top of the 6th, it's a 1-run game. Alexandra Cutnelli leads things off facing Mackenzie Duncan, the Snowbirds reliever, in for her second full inning of relief. Well, came in midway through the 4th where she got all 3 outs after the first pitcher did not record any, so technically has pitched 2 innings total. But second start to finish inning perhaps. Cutnelli reached on an error in the 1st, singled and scored in the 4th, also with a stolen base. As that pitch is high to her. 2-1 pitch to the St. Mary's Gale. She takes a huge swing. And Duncan has another strikeout. Her fifth strikeout of her relief outing. That brings up Lexi Beldowitz. Beldowitz, the first victim. Struck out in the fourth. Also grounded out to the shortstop in the first. She is 0 for 2. It's been a lot of pitching in this game. Only 5 combined hits across the Loggerheads and Snowbirds totals. Strike 2. Beldowitz looks at that one. A towering shot into right. In comes Mansfield. She holds on. 2 outs. That brings up Grazia Mazzola. Struck out swinging in the second. Hit a big-time 2 RBI double in the fourth to give Sarasota the lead. Ultimately came around to score on an error. That run on the error, currently the difference. As she fouls it off, skimming it off the bat. Another fouled pitch. Strike 3. Duncan freezes Mazzola, gets her 6th strikeout, and deals another 1-2-3 inning. It's a 1-run game as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th between the Loggerheads and the Snowbirds. Kaya Cortez leads things off for Longboat Key. She's 0 for 2. And she takes ball 1. Cortez out of Berkeley Prep in Tampa. Probably the most prestigious school in the Tampa Bay area. It was in national headlines a few years ago when Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the height of COVID. Needed to get some practice in with his new offensive weapons. And so around April, May 2020, he took to the fields of Berkeley Prep and built up that chemistry with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Reestablished that connection with Rob Gronkowski and it helped them win a Super Bowl. And Berkeley Prep on its own has produced NFL athletes. As Cortez goes down looking. Tough day for her. She's 0 for 3 now with the strikeout. And that brings up Lily Janesco, the left fielder. She walked, made it all the way to third base in the 2nd, and lined out to center in the 4th. Cindy Jackson, her pitch. Lifted high into right. Crashing in is Volgraf. She makes the squeeze, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. As the Snowbirds running out of outs to work with. Still just a 1-run game, so a swing can equalize it. But down to their last 4 outs. Reese Green is up. And Jackson is feeling it. One. Ground ball. Scooped up by the third baseman, Beldowitz. Fired on a line to first, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th. Cindy Jackson feeling it, looking good. Goes a 1-2-3 inning, and we go to the 7th. The score, 3 for the Loggerheads, 2 for the Snowbirds. Mackenzie Duncan in the circle trying to keep it a 1-run game for her offense as it is 3-2 Loggerheads in the top of the 7th. Bottom third due up for the Loggerheads. Chloe Nelson, Brooke Pashota will make her first plate appearance, and then Sophia Jin. Chloe Nelson grounded out to short in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th. For the Loggerheads, all their offense has been out of the 4th inning, where they had all 2 of their hits, all 3 of their runs. Besides that, they've been quiet, but In what has proven to be a pitcher's duel that has been enough. Nelson, the left fielder, leads it off. Mackenzie Duncan, she came in to relieve the starting pitcher, Riley Scholl, who walked and gave up a single in the fourth. Duncan's first pitch is fouled into the fence. So Duncan came in without a run scored for the Loggerheads, allowed a Grazia Mazzola double that scored 2, and then a wild pitch advanced Mazzola to third, and the error down the third baseline on the throw by the catcher. It was not on the catcher, it was by the third baseman, couldn't hold on. That allowed that third run to come in. So Duncan has only allowed 1 run attributed to her own stat line, but it was unearned. But allowing that double, so she does have some responsibility, you could say, in this one. But since then, she has pitched 2 scoreless innings, 1, 2, 3 in the 5th and the 6th. She's settled into the Mackenzie Duncan that we've seen so much this summer. And so, just trying to keep it at 1 for her offense in the home half. Nelson, a partial swing. She fouls it down the line. In the home half, Longboat Key will send 9-1-2 to the plate, starting with Vela Mansfield, who's 0 for 2. Then Alistair Waters, who is 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Then Gracie Anderson, who is 1 for 3. So Mansfield hasn't done much at the plate today, but that top of the order has been where the production has came from. It's now 2 balls, 2 strikes to Nelson, so that's probably who you want up if you're Longboat Key in this one. All 3 hits coming from the top 3 to Waters, Anderson, and Holt. A reminder, just 5 hits combined in this game. Right now, Chloe Nelson's fighting, and Duncan lost control of that one. She knew it as soon as it left her grip. Partial swing, but it's batted out to left. She just extended that bat out there. Nelson gets a hit. Duncan had retired the previous 7. And it's Brooke Pashota with her first plate appearance. Came in as a defensive sub at the catcher position for Rebecca Lewis in the 5th inning, I believe. Lewis had a good day. She grounded out and walked. It'll help the on-base percentage. Strike 3. Duncan freezes Pashota. It's another K for the Snowbirds relief pitcher. Man, has she been ferocious in the circle. 7 strikeouts now. Now has 77 on the season. As ball 1 given out to Sophia Jin, who's 0 for 2 today. Crazy stat. Mackenzie Duncan has more strikeouts than over half of the teams in the Florida Gulf Coast League. Jin out to right, falls for a base hit. And well, strikeouts are nice, but now the priority is keeping this one from getting out of hand. Duncan could use some of those strikeouts here. It's first and second in the top of the 7th as Morgan Volgraff, the right fielder, who's 0 for 3, is up. Volgraff, 2 lineouts to third and the ground out to second. Mackenzie Duncan, her pitch. Strike on the outside part. One one. Strike 2. Volgraff. A hard hit line drive leaves the park foul on the left field side. Sophia Mazzola is on deck for Sarasota. We'll see her barring a double play ball, something that the Snowbirds would love to see. The 1-2 pitch. And that hits her on the wrist. Loads the bases. Danielle Watson-Moore will come out, take a look at Morgan Volgraff, who rips off the batting glove. It's her right hand, right wrist area. That was plunked by Mackenzie Duncan, the hardest thrower in the FGCL, so that won't feel pleasant. And that'll do it for Duncan. Wheels started to come off here in the 7th. Still has not allowed an earned run, but there's only 1 out with the bases juiced as Riley Schull comes back in. We'll step aside for the pitching change. Riley Scholl is back in the circle for Longboat Key. Relieves Mackenzie Duncan, who leaves the bases loaded with 1 out in the 7th. Scholl returns after pitching the first 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned, walked 2, and struck out 2. So she's back in the circle for the Snowbirds, facing Sophia Mazzola with the bases loaded. That pitch is outside. Duncan started this inning, allowed a leadoff base hit by Nelson, struck out Pashota, allowed a Sophia Jin hit, and then hit Morgan Volgraff, who has been pinch ran for by Morgan Clark. So they switched to Morgan's at first. 2-0 pitch. Off the end of the bat, foul. So Morgan Volgraff has some speed. Hopefully the fact that she's being pinch ran for is just precautionary. Got hit on the right hand wrist area. And there's strike 2. The 2-2 pitch. And that hits her. No, they say she leaned into it. And Danielle Watson-Moore is not going to be happy about that one. So instead, it's ball 3. Zola taps this to second base. Stepping on second, that's Anderson. It scores a run, and there are 2 outs, but some insurance tacked on by the Loggerheads. Mazzola, RBI fielder's choice. Mazzola now at second. Ava Vandernoth is up. Vandernoth takes outside, ball 1. Next pitch. It's outside. Vandernoth today walked in the first, walked and scored in the 4th, struck out swinging in the 5th. That one gets away from the catcher. The runners don't think about it. And it was both times that Riley Scholl faced Vandernoth in which she was walked, and she might walk her for the 3rd time. Not that time. Get me over strike for Riley Scholl. Ball 4 and the bases are loaded once more as Scholl walks Vandernoth again. Alexandra Cottinelli to the plate with Jan at third, Mazzola at second, Vandernoth at first. Cottinelli is 1 for 3. She takes ball 1. Reached on an error in the first, singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the fourth. Struck out swinging in the sixth. Trying to extend this 2-run Loggerheads lead. Well, Scholl misses upstairs, and it's an intimidating situation. She's got to throw her strikes here. The cleanup batter for the Loggerheads. She swings and fouls it off. This ball to shallow right, and it dies down for a base hit. Jin is in. And 2 score. Jin and Mazzola on the flare shot single makes it 6-2. Cottinelli, her second hit. First and third now for Lexi Beldowitz. That pitch is a strike. O2 on its way to Beldowitz. Ooh, just enough to get it out there and foul it off. The final line, by the way, for Mackenzie Duncan. 3 in the third innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which are earned. Walked 1 and struck out 7. Started to unravel in this 7th inning where she started the frame. Got the bases loaded with just 1 out. Scholl trying to end it. Runner takes off to second. Throw by the catcher to the shortstop, and they have the runner in a rundown as the run is in, and she is out. And the inning is over. But some insurance tacked on by the Loggerheads. They lead it through 6.5. Bottom of the 7th, 7-2 our score after a forced spot by the Loggerheads in the top half to produced this 5-run lead. Sydney Jackson's back in for her 4th inning of relief. She has been very good so far. Vela Mansfield dribbles it to first base, and Cottonelli steps on the bag. Mansfield is 0 for 3. That brings up Alice DeWaters as Snowbirds down to their final 2 outs. DeWaters, she's been good today. Ground out to first, walking a run, doubling a run. A day in which the Snowbirds have just 3 hits. This ball softly to the second baseman Mazzola, soft toss to Cottonelli, and it's 1 out away from victory for the Loggerheads. First pitch is a ball to Gracie Anderson, who singled in the 3rd, sandwiched between 2 strikeouts in the 1st and the 5th. 1 for 3 day for the 2-spot hitter for Longboat Key. Chopper into the glove of the pitcher. Jackson to first, and that does it. Great win for the Sarasota Loggerheads. They take it 7-2 over the Snowbirds. They're pitching rounding into form as the regular season coming to a close. They allow just 3 hits across 7 innings between Carly George and Sydney Jackson. And 7-2 the final score. Loggerheads over Snowbirds. Loggerheads now 6-9. Snowbirds drop to 6-10. The winning pitcher is Sydney Jackson. 4 fantastic innings of 1-run ball. The losing pitcher is Riley Scholl, who started and finished it for the Snowbirds with 7 strikeouts by Mackenzie Duncan in between. But that does it from our coverage of Loggerheads and Snowbirds. 7-2, Sarasota takes it.